This is Atul Michael, coach of the varsity boys soccer team, and we have a couple of questions in the lead up towards ICS. Um, to my understanding, the varsity boys have played a few games so far that would have tested where they are as a team, sort of like preseason friendlies. I remember the tournament on Saturday. I was there for a couple of the games, and based on these games and what you've seen from the team, how ready do you think you are for ICS as a team?
I think based on the competition and the performances, I think we would do very well if the tournament happened tomorrow. The school did a very good job of organizing some competitive matches for us. Some teams were good enough to beat us. Some teams we were clearly better than, but overall the competition will reflect what we expect to see at ICS. So we're very well prepared.
Okay, how psychologically ready are you, the players, especially since we're hosting it this time and there'll be a lot of pressure on them. So how are they ready for
It's
it?
a good question. Any athlete, I think, psychologically, it depends on the day. There might be things that happen on the day that maybe a slight injury that the player's going to be thinking about, or the fact that it rained that day, or the fact that they didn't get any sleep the night before, or the fact that they see another team with players that look like they are 7 feet tall. So there's lots of things. Our main focus is going to be looking at what our strengths are. The fact that we work as a team, the fact that we work hard, and the fact that we're in very good shape playing at this altitude. So those are the things that we're going to focus on before we start every game. We're going to talk about what we do well and try to remember that if we do those things well, we're going to be very hard to beat.
Okay. According to the message I got from Mr. Getz, this year the time is going to be extended to 20 minutes each half, right? So as ICS usually plays, they usually focus on the short passing type of playing. And how do you think the time is going to affect the way you play?
I think the time will be to our benefit because every game we've played in ICS since I started coaching anyways, we've always found that 15 minutes is a little too short. In a lot of the games we played, even though we were ahead in ball possession, like you mentioned, because of our short passing, we just ran out of time in terms of having enough opportunities to get the ball in the back of the net. So, and with the altitude at which we train, the added minutes, I think, will work to our advantage.
Okay. Picking up on the question he posed before about being at home and hosting ICS, do you think it'll, because you've mentioned some of the advantages in terms of the altitude, but do you think the home crowd will have something to do with it? Do you think they'll present or give morale to the players, or do you think it'll be pressure instead of that?
Well, I would like to see ICS team be represented well by fans, because this is our first time in over 4 years hosting the tournament. We are hoping that there will be lots of students, lots of the peers, these varsity boys to come out and show their support. And I think every athlete is more likely to be motivated or inspired by fan support rather than be pressured, which is a possibility, but I don't see that happening here.
Last year, a lot of players that leave the varsity team, and this year it's kind of built up with a whole new team has to be added, and they had to learn the new way of playing. And how did that fit into your game?
We were fortunate enough to have a lot of players that are just starting out in 10th grade, and one player that is still actually in 8th grade. And the drawbacks are one, like you said, they might lack experience, but the positives are that they have no egos, that they work hard for each other, and that they play really well as a team because they know each other pretty well. And having that with a young team is very important.